Chào mừng quý vị quay trở lại với chương trình Đồng tiền thông minh với cuộc trò chuyện cùng anh Sonny Vũ là sáng lập viên của Misfit Wearables. Welcome back, Sonny. How would you describe the cultures at Misfit?
Oh, it's something that's pretty important to us, and we have a number of key cultural values. The first one is that we value people being thoughtful. So thinking before you talk, thinking through things carefully rather than just doing stuff. We value people who, we have a culture where the right people get listened to, not the loud people.
Okay.
We've all been
so
in
you
situations.
Quiet, right, and right.
Yeah. There's a lot of quiet, introverted people, and we listen to them too. That wasn't the case in my last company, and that they got on my nerves all the time. And the second thing is being a misfit. That is, we value people who are fearless in breaking the rules, breaking convention, not the law, but being able to break from convention for a good reason.
So what exactly is the Vietnamese team doing, and how does that contribute to the product?
So a number of things. First is software engineering. We've got some amazing software engineers, some of the most elite that I've ever worked with. And so there's a team that does that, so that, like mobile apps and whatnot. And then the cloud infrastructure, that kind of thing. The other team is the data science team. This is the team that develops the algorithms that run on the devices on the Shine, for example.
Are those the most important parts in the products?
Yeah, these are the most important parts. This is, the one is making the apps, which is the main user experience, and the other is making the smarts, the intelligence behind the device. So this is the most advanced work that we do.
Wow, so get proud.
Yeah, no. I'm very proud of the team, and I'm so delighted that we can do it here in Vietnam.
So how about the team in the U.S.? What do they do?
The team in the U.S. focuses on everything that's hardware related, so industrial design, hardware engineering, firmware, that kind of thing, manufacturing.
Do you actually provide a training for the Vietnamese team, like the people, to get adapted to the work?
Oh yeah. No. We bring the Vietnamese team over 1 to 2 times a year, usually for about a month at a time for training. So we train. There's a heavy focus on training
in the U.S.
At Misfit. Yeah. So probably 10 or 15 of our guys have come to the U.S. now, and each time roughly for about 1, sometimes 2 months for training, and they come back and. It's just like night and day, English is better, skills, product development skills are better, that kind of thing. And also the U.S. team learns a lot from the Vietnamese team. They see the team spirit, the hard working, the work ethic, and just the sheer skill. And so both teams learn a lot from each other. We bring the U.S. team here to Vietnam also several times a year, and so there's a lot of interchange between the two.
Sure.
Usually we bring the teams in Vietnam over to overlap with big conferences. So we always go to Google I/O, which is the annual Google conference, and WWDC, which is the annual Apple conference. It's like for developers. And they also announce a lot of Apple products, so it's a lot of fun. The new iPhone or whatever.
Yeah,
so they like sitting in the front row, and so it's a lot of fun. This year we're going to go to both. We were lucky enough to get tickets to both, and so we're bringing a team of 6 people over from Vietnam.
What seem to be the most challenging things about managing like a team like that with exceptional people, smart people?
Smart people want creative outlets and want to express their creativity and productivity in meaningful ways, and that's part of our mission. That's part of what we do as a company. Part of why we exist is to provide those opportunities. And so it's so it's about continuing to challenge people. It's hard. Sometimes there's work that is not challenging, but someone's got to do it.
Okay.
But the thing is, when you have a good, that's why there's a lot of focus on team, team spirit and culture, because if you don't have that, people just want to work on cool stuff and then that's it. That's but we have products to build and products to ship. But we have this shared mission in terms of shipping a great product, so it's usually not a problem.
I'm just curious, any difference between Western smart kids and Vietnamese smart kids?
No, smart kids just want to they want to solve tough problems. They want to put those smarts to use. So we do.
All right. So right now, Shine only works with iPhone, iOS. How about Android?
Yeah, it'll work on Android later.
Okay.
We love Apple products. We love the iPhone, and it's easy to make a great user experience. It's easier to make a great user experience on iPhone, so we do.
So how does John Sculley, the former CEO of Apple, and your currently founders and mentors, how did it help with the projects?
John's he's
what
really...
kind of help did you receive from them?
Yeah. So the main thing with John is that he's just an awesome mentor. Like, he's really like more of a personal mentor to me more than anything, because he's just really wise. He's been doing business for 50 years. Who has that kind of depth of knowledge? And he's gone through tough times and hard times and good times, and so he knows. He's seen it all. After Pepsi, a number of years at Pepsi, then he was at Apple for 10 years, and then after Apple, it's been 25 years since he 20 years or so since he left Apple, and started and sold dozens of businesses. And so it's been a great mentorship experience for me.
And how is the let's say the mobile health technology market right now in the U.S. and what is the growth? Have you done any research about it?
Mobile health, digital health is still pretty early, even in developed countries. In Europe, U.S. is still very early. There's a lot of interest in it, a lot of, I guess, growth, but it's still very early. So for developing countries, it's even earlier.
Okay, so the consumer is not well educated about the product.
Yeah, people aren't very familiar with this category. People are familiar with buying MP3, iPods and mobile phones and
music,
games and music. Okay, you don't need education for that. But to buy products that help you stay healthier, it's still pretty new. But I think there's interest, because I think people that's a deep need. To be entertained, to be connected and have a social life. To feel good about yourself, and to be healthy. I think those are core human needs. So I think it will grow. It will naturally become a big industry.
Sure. What does it take to get into this industry? From your experience.
Understanding, so there's the healthcare industry, and then there's wellness. Wellness is very broad, much broader. That's just like people who just want to have better health, you're not just dealing with sick people. Now, the medical and the healthcare industry, very different. In the medical and healthcare industry, it's complicated. Who pays who? Where do you get serviced? Where are the lines of responsibilities and whatnot? Those and the market dynamics, pretty complicated. So understanding, and we learned a lot at my last company about that space. But then whether it's wellness or medical, when you're talking about consumer dynamics can be very complex, and it can seem non-intuitive. When we did blood glucose monitoring, we always thought, the most important thing is making it really accurate, right? And we did. We made it twice as accurate. Turns out that people don't care about accuracy, because they think if it's clear,
something to measure the activity.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if the FDA clears it, then it's perceived as accurate, and so we learned a lot of lessons, but people do care about the color of the meter, they like a pink meter.
All right, so product design.
Yeah, so the design is a big deal. This is one of the big lessons I learned.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For the consumers for entrepreneurs in, let's say, in emerging market like Vietnam, when you think about, starting a software business or even make it to the hardware business. For now, to do hardware business, what kind of requirement? What do you need?
Hardware, it's, first of all, I think it's good to start small and to start with something simple. Don't go for anything really ambitious. But like any kind of venture or any kind of enterprise that you pursue, the most important thing is to have a team. Investors, when they invest in you in the early stage at the seed or the Series A level, they're investing in the team. You should have a good idea too, but your ideas are going to change. You're going to change your ideas. You're going to do different things, and if you have a good team, you can actually change, and they'll stick with you. But if you think you have a great idea, but the team's not so good, what if market dynamics change? What if the consumer wants something different? Then you have to change. And if you don't have a team that can change with you, then it's tough.
What were some of the biggest lessons that you learned from when you talk to investors at the early stage of your company?
I think a couple of things. One is just being really authentic and having a great story. Being authentic and being really honest with them and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is where we're at, that's it. And having a great team. So a great story, a great team, and being really authentic. And I think between those three things, you know, investors will forgive stupid ideas, but they won't forgive stupid teams.
All right. And the crowdfunding side is a good way to test the market.
Yeah, it's a great way for a good team to put together what they think is a good idea and see, okay, will people actually buy this? You know?
If you fail to make a goal on the crowdfunding side, does that mean that your product is really bad? I mean,
it could be. I mean, the thing is, some people say that the results could be skewed because, you know, not too many people go to crowdfunding sites. Maybe you're only looking at techie, right? It could happen. And so, you know, just because you failed on a crowdfunding site doesn't mean it's a bad idea necessarily, but you should probably look into why you failed. You know, maybe you failed because you didn't get any PR or no one even knew about it. You know, that's a good. You know, then that means you should probably be good. You know, develop some competency in that.
Yeah.
You know.
So what's next after the Indiegogo? I mean,
our main product, which is what investors invested in, we're going to be working on, and that'll be released early next year.
But I mean, Shine is just the first product.
Shine's the first product. Yep.
Okay.
It's we wanted to make something simple that a lot of people could relate to as a first offering. You know, we're going to continue making consumer products for some time. You know, yeah, we want to make something that has impact, and I think consumer products really have that ability to do that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thưa quý vị, vừa rồi là những chia sẻ của anh Sonny Vũ, là sáng lập viên của Medfit Wearables, và đến đây thì chương trình Đồng tiền thông minh cũng xin được khép lại. Một lần nữa xin cảm ơn quý vị và các bạn đã quan tâm theo dõi. Thân ái chào tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong những chương trình kỳ sau.